Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's time for some Ask Jesse answers. As always, we had some fantastic questions this week. They were so good that I had to come out into the woods to share them with you all. No, I was just out for a walk and I wanted to record this video, and I thought I'd change up the background a little bit. Anyways, number one, and you guys, I'm gonna mispronounce your name, so I apologize in advance. Number one comes to us from Inash Juspova, and I apologize repeatedly for if I mispronounced your name. And Anash asked, Jesse, have you read books by Joseph Murphy? And what books inspired you the most? Nothing comes to mind by Joseph Murray, or Murphy rather, but I'm not always the best about remembering names. I'll tell you right now, one of the most inspiring books for me, the one that I say really kind of helped me shift gears, helped me get on a different path, was a book called A Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. If you have read it, I recommend reading it at least 2 more times. It's just filled with lots of little wisdoms and tidbits, and it's told to a nice little inspiring story. It's a really fast read, really easy to read. Got a mosquito trying to get me. And it's awesome. Absolutely awesome. Really awe-inspiring. So that was a huge one. Another one that's an absolute must read is one called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. Man's Search for Meaning. That one's about a guy who was taken prisoner during the Holocaust, and he was in a Nazi death camp, and he basically discerns throughout this experience that no matter what they did to him, no matter how hard they tortured him, no matter how they treated him, they could not determine his attitude, that he and he alone had the power of doing it. It's such a life-altering book because you read what this guy goes through and how he's able to maintain an attitude, and it really helps put things in perspective in our own lives about how we have a lot more power than we realize in choosing our attitude. So number 2 comes to us from Camille Giron or Gyron. Camille, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, I butchered it. What's keeping you believe in the positive even though there's more negative in life than the positive? For me, Camille, it's logic. Because I know right away that there's way more positive than negative. I mean, the fact that I would challenge you this, Camille. I would challenge you to, and please prove me wrong. Please try to prove me wrong, and then I can better answer your question. But I would love for you to list all the negative in life, all the things that are way more negative than the positive. And then I would love for you to write and list all the things that had to happen for you to be able to put that post on there, okay? And those would be going under the positive, which means you have to list all the things that occurred for that to happen. The air in your lungs, the ability to see if you're seeing it, if you heard it, if you're translating it at all, the fingers that you have, the type, the muscles in your fingers, the blood that has to circulate, the veins, the arteries have to work right to send blood down there to that, the skeletal system that has to be able to move, the cartilage that allows the joints to move, right? The freedom of any sort of disease or anything that might inhibit those muscles to move, like an arthritis or something like that. The brain, a functioning brain that allows you to form sentences, to form those words, plus the language and the education that you must have had to learn those languages. So which means all the books that you've had the opportunity to read, or the internet access that you have, which means the ability you've had to be able to do this and that. Okay, you get where I'm going. There is literally thousands of things just biologically that positively have to happen for you to even write that statement. So I'm happy to answer it, and I'll answer it by challenging you to please list all the negative ones and compare them to all the positive ones. And by positive, I mean you have to list every single positive thing that had to go into happening for you to even be able to write that. Because I just want to be able to have a scope of where you're coming from so that I can address that. I think if you do this, you'll find that there's a heck of a lot more positive things going on than you may want to acknowledge, and most of us acknowledge, and that there's actually, in comparison, only a few negative things. Negative and positive is about perspective, guys. It's about keeping things in context. A lot of times we like to say everything's negative when it's really a few things. So, Camille, please list them all out. I'm looking forward to a physiology lesson, and I will answer accordingly. All right, everybody, that's all we have time for the week. Thanks always for asking the questions. If your question didn't get answered this week, please ask it again. I do my best to try to get to everybody's questions. And with answering to a video, I have to kind of pick and choose And if you keep asking your question, I promise you I will get to it. If you found value in this video, please share it with friends, family members, coworkers, etc. I always appreciate it, and I'd love to hear what you guys think, so leave some comments below, and I will look at them, read them, answer them accordingly. And as for that, I'm going to continue on with my little walk through the forest here, and I hope you guys have an amazing day. We'll talk to you soon.